because almost every time I get a new customer, man, they email me and like, dude, where have you been, man? You got the baddest shit on the planet. And I'm like, man, I've been here. Like, it's just so hard. The hardest part is trying to connect with the people who want to play the music.
Yeah. I mean, I found that too. I mean, you've been doing it for 2 years. I've been doing this for like, I don't know how long. Well, almost a year now.
Cool.
And it gets to be a lot. Like, I mean, I don't really have any real like business plan for Slightly Fuzzed, but it kind of started as just kind of funny shit on Instagram, and then it turned into a podcast. Then it turned into like kind of helping bands release records and that kind of shit. And
I'm telling you, man,
it gets to be a lot after.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, you start going down rabbit holes, bro. Yeah. I have a marketing background as well, and like that's what I do for my company, and so that's why Pat and I like really had a good chat. Was that like we talked about the marketing and like how it's similar, but like Slightly Fuzzed was almost created to be like the anti like what I'm used to marketing wise. It was like I could just get to do whatever the fuck I want, and if I want to like make something really crude and vulgar, and I can just fuck it, I can do it. And I can make the podcast yeah, dude.
Stupid,
yeah.
And I can do whatever.
Hell yeah, man.
Anti-marketing experiment. So like me and Pat, we talked about that for a long time, and he definitely knows his shit. So that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he is the fucking man. He is the man for what he does. Which that's what you want. I mean, that's what I expect. Is when you look for somebody to handle a certain aspect of something and that's their job, then they need to know their job. And Pat does, man. He does. And not only does he do it, but one of the things that I like, that I feel is very important, and you can see this when you're looking at certain people, if they love it. If they love it and their heart is in it, then they'll be successful at it.
Yeah,
I believe that, and that's how I feel about him. And not to boast about myself, but that's probably why I do well, because I enjoy this. I have fun with it and I enjoy it. Yeah, it's it gets stressful and stuff, and owning your own business is tough, and having to deal with people and all the issues. Shipping issues are always a problem.
Right.
The mail carriers, whichever one you're talking about, just about all of them, they've lost or destroyed something. And unfortunately it all comes back on you, and they are never held accountable, which is terrible, to me. I have a saying that I feel like Amazon and eBay kind of created that situation for all of us because of how they handle their business. But I'm not $1 billion industry. That's the difference, man. I'm not $1 billion industry. If I was, I'd be like, dude, no problem, man. Here's another one right off the cuff. But first of all, because of the prices that I do, I feel like, and I'm pretty confident in saying that my prices are more than fair, and I give people a fair price. I give them a good product. Most of my products are imported, and I do the best I can to pack them up right and all that stuff. So, but anytime I lose like a record or something like that, man, I have to sell like 5 or 6 more just to make up for that one. Like, that's what people don't understand. And my whole thing is to try to keep the prices as low as possible, just so I can get the music out there. That's what I want to try to do. I
totally understand that. I mean, I'm just kind of getting started in like, sending out records and stuff, but it's like, to your point of like Amazon is like, when they screw up, I expect them to like just send me a new one. Like, listen, I don't want to have to deal with this and wait for it and call the post office and call my neighbors looking for the package. Just send me another thing that I wanted or whatever, and they do. For me, it's like if I only have a stack of 50 records here, so if I have to send you a second one, like that profit margin is so small that it like
it is so small. So today every record I sold today, I gave away at cost. Okay, I made nothing today, which I'm okay with that, because it also helps me out too, just for people to come in and move all this stuff that I've had setting here, so I can bring in some newer stuff. So there's a win-win. And then on the other side is, all those customers that's been loyal to me, and there's a lot of them that keep coming back, is just give them the opportunity to get more stuff at an even better price. I mean, I don't know how I could get much better, man. I'm looking at my prices. I'm like, dude, like this, a $30 record at Germany costs you $30, with me. And if you buy 2 records, you get free shipping. So that's a good price. So if you get it from Germany, you're going to pay $15-16 probably for shipping on top of that. So one of the biggest benefits, I think, is when you buy more, which is one of the things that I want to work on in the future. I just got a web designer that I found after, I feel like it's been 2 years, but it probably hasn't been quite 2 years, but it's been about a year and a half. I've been looking for a web designer. I finally found one. And so now I talk to a lot of my customers, and I get feedback and input from them, and I try to hear what they would want me to do. And so now I'm finally getting to be able to accomplish some of those long-term tasks that needed to get done that'll make the business run smoother for them and for me too. It helps us both out, because anytime it's smooth for them, it makes it smooth for me. So that's worth it. Yeah.
So there's a lot of like good stuff that we can talk about here, and we already kind of dove in. So I want to take just a minute and introduce you as Paul Huff of the Cosmic Peddler.
Okay. And
to anyone that doesn't understand what the Cosmic Peddler is or anything, I try to have a pretty wide range of guests on the podcast, and a lot of them end up being bands and artists and stuff, but record labels and people that do the artwork for the covers. And I try to get just a lot of people that make this like underground scene kind of function. And and you're one of them, and for sure. And I think that you have a big part in kind of how this whole thing keeps moving. So why don't you take a minute and just kind of explain what the Cosmic Peddler is a little bit, and maybe how it started? I mean, we're at the 2-year mark, so like, what was it like kind of getting this rolling?
Dude, it's the story is phenomenal for me anyway, because I feel like I've always had a passion for music. I grew up in the 70s, so I got AC/DC tattooed on my wrist. I mean, I love like Judas Priest, Motley Crue, Deep Purple. Yeah, I grew up with all that stuff. Well, I served in the military for 23 years, and I traveled all over the world. And I feel like during that time, I lost focus on what was going on with everyone else, because I was just busy doing what I had to do. And when I retired, I knew that I always wanted to kind of be in business for myself, just because I'm a hard worker and I'm always passionate about what I do, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I started getting into comic books, because I love comic books. And I started selling comic books and comic book and supplies and stuff. Man, I got stacks of like old vintage comic books and stuff. Man, I'm into all that stuff. And then a friend of mine here in San Antonio, a friend of mine was playing in a band, and he was like, "Hey, man, you love music, man. You want to start? You want to get into this band, with us?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, that sounds cool." So I started playing in this band, and I'm not going to say the name of the band, because they got an album coming out and stuff, and there's some other breakup situations there, I started playing in the band, and they introduced me to this music, and I was completely blown away because to me it sounded like the same stuff that I grew up with, but it's just new stuff. I'm like, holy shit, this is like the same. This is like fucking Deep Purple, AC/DC, Black Sabbath. It's all the same shit. It's just like it's just like new bands playing like new stuff. I was like, man, this shit's badass. So I started listening to it, and that's what I was playing. That's what we were playing in the band, was this style of music. And one day we were hanging out after practice or something, and we'd always go to practice, and then after practice we'd freaking party. So we were sitting there freaking partying and listening to music, and they were like, "Hey, Paul, you got like a legitimate business." And I did. I had a business license. I was on eBay. I had an eBay store. Dude, I was moving all kinds of comic book stuff like left and right. And they're like, "Dude, you're doing all this. Why don't you look at trying to get this music here?" Because they said, no one has this music in the U.S. And I was like, no one has this? Man, that sounds crazy to me. So I started looking at it, and little did I know that all this heavy, I had no idea who that was, but I guess all this heavy was a person that did like I'm doing now. And they, for whatever reason, they had just ended or something. And so there was this big need for somebody to step in and fill that void. I
had Jad Schickler, who created All That Is Heavy, on the podcast already, and now he has a record label and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, he had a big
lot of that stuff. So I started looking, and I started like researching on Google and stuff, and I was like, damn, man, they're right. Like, you can't get this music anywhere. I said, this is crazy. And I was like, man, what's it gonna hurt? So I went back to practice, and we did practice. I was like, hey, who makes the best records from overseas? And everybody responded, and they said Kai with Cosmic Artifacts is the best. They said, for quality and everything, consistency with the bands and everything. They said, psychedelic rock and all that. They said, man, Kai is the man. I was like, all right. Well, so I contacted Kai, and I bought like $300 worth of freaking records, dude. And I brought them, and I brought them to the States. And honestly, I just started selling them to like my friends. And
so what was he doing exactly? Was he like pressing records, or was he like reselling records from labels, or what was he?
Okay, doing? So you don't know who Cosmic Artifacts is, Kai?
I do know what Cosmic Artifacts is now, but like, why did you go through him and not like, I don't know, to a label?
Well, because my friends told me that. They said Cosmic is where you want to start. That's what they told me. Because like I said, I had no idea, man. Zero of like any of the music or anything. And so I went to, I emailed Kai, man. I pulled up the website and I emailed him and like, hey, man, I want to sell your music. Well, just so happens, like, once again, perfect storm. I think Kai was having some issues with U.S. distribution. And part of that was probably because of the whole situation with All This Heavy or whatever. And he was trying somebody else. And Kai was like, hey, Paul, man, they're just taking my records, dude, and they're throwing them on a shelf. And it's consignment, and they're not even selling them. And within, a few weeks, dude, I was like, I was coming back and buying more. And he's like, dude, like, you've sold more in 3 months than than these guys have sold forever. And I was like, really? So that's how it all started, man. It all started. And then I opened up a little record shop here in San Antonio, Texas. in November, around November of 2019, I opened up a record store. And then shortly after that, probably like December or something, I started dabbling in a website because I felt like that was the way to go.
How did you do those records without some of this stuff? How did they
and in January, the pandemic hit. So the city came in, shut my store down. It was like, hey, dude, you're out of here, man. Pack everything up. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so I brought all my stuff home, and I was like, well, Paul, you have two choices, brother. You can either quit, or you can just try this online thing and see how it works. And fortunately, for me, I think because of the pandemic and people were at home and they were listening to music, it all kind of, it all kind of took off, for me. And it hasn't stopped, man. To be honest with you, it hasn't stopped, man. I've been going 100 miles an hour, trying to figure this thing out. That honestly, it just started as like a kind of a hobby. I mean, I had no idea, what this was going to turn into. But I want to say this, man. So some people that are very near and dear to me, okay? Duel, Tom Frank with Duel, Ryan Garney with High Desert Queen, all the Warlung Boys, all those guys. Those were the bands that I first connected with here in San Antonio with all this music, man. And they made me love it, man. And it hasn't stopped since. And those are, I consider them all like my good friends. And so I want to throw a shout out, to them because they hustle, man. Those guys hustle every day.
I've had Ryan on here. I've had Ryan on here twice now already.
Dude, they play like a madman. They hustle like they're trying to get their music out there. I'm trying to help them. So that's kind of how the Cosmic Peddler started in a gist.
Yeah. So how do you get in touch with some of these bands? Is it through labels? Is it through the bands themselves? Or what are they looking for you to do exactly? And I mean, are you kind of like the only one doing this right now, or do you have some competition out there? Because I see like all the bigger bands and stuff going to you and using you to get.
Dude, I think so. Looking around, looking around, I think that the vinyl industry is very saturated. I think that anybody with a closet and a computer can open up a record label, and they are, which is kind of sad, to me. And the same thing with me too. Anybody with a spare room and a computer can open up an online store now and can present themselves as a legitimate business. That don't mean that they're legitimate. I think over time and consistency and everything, you have to prove yourself, with the customers. But what I did in the beginning, and I feel like, Walmart, Target, Amazon, all these people have moved heavily into the vinyl scene. And I hear it even from my customers, like, yeah, dude, look what I picked up from fucking Amazon for freaking $22. I'm like, dude, you could have bought it for me for a couple bucks more. Thanks, brother. But whatever. I get it. Everybody's got to save some money. But the one thing that they will never do, because they're so big and they just won't get down to that level, is they won't connect with the bands like I do. See, I go to the shows. I go to the festivals, I hang out with the bands, I party with them, I talk to them, and I try to get their music, and I try to promote their music. I either meet them through the labels, so like, if a label puts out a record, and then I'll try to promote that record, with them, or I'll also follow the Doom charts. And so I look at, I look at look at the Doom charts. I haven't been doing that much lately, just because I've been super busy with other things. But I want to get back into the Doom charts, and Mr. 666, man, he's the freaking man, dude. Right. Man, he cranks stuff out. So if you follow him, and what I was doing was I was making a point to like look at the stuff that they're reviewing and then listening to it, and then like, dude, this sounds sick. And I contact the bands, and that's kind of what got me going. And I think that is something that should be, and I hope will be, and I'm going to make it to be the heart of my business, is to connect with the bands like that. For those bands who don't want to be on a record label, to give them a distribution platform for their music. That's one of the things that I think that will really distinguish me from Amazon, and because they're not going to do that, Right. They're not going to get down to the individual level with some underground band. If you're King Buffalo, yeah, they might for King Buffalo, but King Buffalo ain't. They're good on their own, man. So they don't need no help from anybody. But you never know. I
think that we have a little bit in common there, because like when I started Slightly Fuzzed, and we talked about this a little bit to start here, but like I just wanted to make funny album covers and make people laugh. But then I was like, there's so much good music here. I was constantly like reaching out to the bands and listening to their new stuff and talking to them about it and asking them questions and saying, hey, just if nothing else, like, hey, I like this album. Nice work. See ya. And then it became like, how else? People were asking me, like, can you give us a shout out? Can you share? Oh, sure. Yeah, of course. And then it was like, well, how else can I help you? And then it was like, maybe I can make an album cover for you. Maybe I can start a podcast and get a platform for you to be on. And it just like, it kind of just rolled into more and more and more stuff as I went. And I've had some bands reach out to me and go, if I send you 50 records, can you like put them up on your web store and help sell them? And I'm like, maybe, but like, I don't know that I want to go down that road. Like I have a spare room in this house, but like, this seems like there's probably plenty of people that know what they're doing better than I do, and yourself included. And I've turned most of them down, going like, I don't think that I want to do that. But
well, it's a whole process, man. You have to learn how to, you have to learn. And I went through all the, I'm sure I'm not far from over, but I went through a lot of ups and downs. Things are kind of smoothing out now. And I feel like I have a good path forward with Steven Yoyada is my artist. He's my man.
And we've talked about him so many times on this podcast.
Dude, Steven's my man. So Steven does all my artwork. He is my man. He will be the main artist for the Cosmic Peddler. Now, once I branch off and I do some other stuff, I have some plans that I might work with some other artists, but for the most part, Steven is my man. And then I met Patrick now, and Patrick is doing a phenomenal job with my marketing. I've been meeting some other people that I'm hoping to bring on board, and then I'm hoping to grow this to the point that I can get a store again. I could go out, tomorrow, and I could go back to the same place. But if something happened, they'd just shut me back down, and with no regard for me or my care or anything, they would just shut me down. And I'm just like, I'm just not gonna do that right now. Like, no matter how bad that I want to, and I really do want to, like really bad, I keep kind of holding myself back. But what I want to do is I want to try to maximize and grow as much as I can here, get some money saved up, and try to get my own place. And in that way, no one can shut me down because all I have to do is just lock the doors and stay online.
Yeah.
You know, it's that simple. I just lock the doors and stay online. So that's just where I'm at now. But a good point to what you were saying was this whole thing with the music. It's a rabbit hole of endless possibilities, dude. There's so many things that you can do with the bands to promote the bands and do different things. I mean, there's just so much stuff, man. Yeah. The hardest part is learning how to do it, properly and I personally, I don't think there's any large amount of money in any of this because the market's so saturated. But if we can at least make enough money to make ends meet and stuff and keep it going and have fun with it, hell, man, then I'm on board. You know?
Yeah. It's sometimes I've been like so just entrenched in this, whatever you want to call it, stoner metal scene or whatever, that like you kind of get this false sense of how big it is or how small it is, maybe rather. And like to me, I'm looking at some of these bands and going like, oh, they're like top tier stoner metal, whatever. And I forget that to the outside world, they still don't have any fucking clue who half of these bands are. And I can still reach out to these bands and talk to them on Instagram, and they still reply. And like it's such a small group, really.
Dude, every day, man. I'm talking about King Buffalo, man. I'm telling you, I'm a huge King Buffalo fan. So I don't know if you know, but I'll talk about King Buffalo, and I hope they listen to me, Scott. But when the pandemic started, man, that's kind of when I introduced myself, to them, and it was just coincidental because Dead Star came out, and it came out on the Doom charts. I was monitoring. I was like, "Fucking, this album is sick, man!" And I reached out to them, and because of the pandemic and they weren't playing and stuff, they started working with me, and they had, dude, I can't. Selling their music, man. Those guys are phenomenal, man. I saw them a couple weeks ago with Uncle Acid, man. It was it was so cool. But those guys are phenomenal in this scene. But to the point is I go around all over, and I think that King Buffalo is like God in this scene, and like, dude, you listen to King Buffalo? Like, who is that? And I'm like, how in the hell do you not know who fucking King Buffalo is, dude? And
to that same point, like,
I'm fucking blown away, bro.
Uncle Acid is like too big for me. Like, they would never be on this podcast. But like, if I talk to one of my metalhead friends, like about Uncle Acid,
Uncle who? They fucking yeah. It's crazy. But so that brings about a very good point, though, is that there's a lot of opportunity here. That's the way I see that. Yeah. There's a lot of opportunity here because one thing that I know, this fucking music is fucking phenomenal, man. Yeah. It's astronomically fucking phenomenal. And I talk to people all the fucking time and like, dude, you listen to Deep Purple? It's like, fuck, I grew up on Deep Purple. Black. I'm like, dude, then you would love this. And they're like, really? And I give it to them and like, dude, it's fucking good. You just got to find I got to find that, that way to connect with them into something that they like and get them to listen to it. But I think there's a huge opportunity. And then, so that's one of the things, with the Cosmic Peddler is hoping that I can make myself bigger and bring the music more to people who don't know who it is.
Yeah, I think that there's got to be some sort of opportunity just kind of waiting because the music has grown a lot and it's gotten amazing and it's kind of had like this new stoner metal boom in the last, like, I don't know, 5 years maybe. and the music has gotten huge. But like, you look on Instagram, and like when I started Slightly Fuzzed, there weren't really many like funny stoner metal meme accounts, and there's not that many podcasts completely dedicated to it, and there's not that many people doing what you're doing, or there's not that many, like, there's still some places that people, there's still some gaps. The music is there, but like everyone else hasn't caught up yet or something, you know?
So here's one of the downfalls. You know, I'll say this is, you know, because the scene is small, and personally, I don't think it's small. I mean, I think it's okay. I think there's a lot of room for growth, but I guess it is kind of small, maybe as compared to like mainstream. Mm-hmm. But so that's where, you know, later I want to diversify. So I'm going to get into the whole classic rock scene, because I love classic rock anyway. So I'm going to get into the whole classic rock scene, and I'm not really I don't know if you saw my classic rock store. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I made a note here. I saw it on your store. I wasn't sure, you know.
I don't really push it too much. Yeah. I created it, and basically, you know, what I'm doing is I'm stockpiling music in it. I'm still making it available to my customers. It's still there, man. I have to pay for it and everything. But I'm basically stockpiling music in it. And then at a certain period of time, and I don't know when, you know, that just depends on a whole lot of things. But at a certain period of time, it will merge into the Cosmic Peddler on its own page with its own URL, website, and everything. But you'll be able to go from one to the other and cart any of the items. And then later, I'm also going to get into the metal scene, because I'm a huge metal fan, dude. I just love music, so I'm a huge metal fan too. So I guess what I was going to say was, you know, one of the downfalls is because this is kind of small. There's so much more work to this than there is a return on the investment, and so I need to diversify more so I can get a store. I mean, that's the bottom line, dude. This is all about me trying to get a store. This is about me trying to get a store, but I am gonna keep them compartmentally separated, so that way the stoner rock guys, the psych stoner rock guys, can go to the Cosmic Peddler, and later on the Cosmic Peddler, it'll probably say the Cosmic Peddler stoner, you know, stoner rock fuzz, you know whatever, and then I'll have the classic rock shop, and then I'm going to have later on I'm going to have a metal store that's going to be doom metal, heavy metal, dark metal, black metal. It's going to be all dedicated to everything metal. Man, it's going to be sick, dude.
Yeah. And when I started the podcast, I was like, I want to kind of keep it focused on like fuzz type music and stoner and shit. And my girlfriend was like, even if you make that the biggest stoner metal podcast on the planet, like how big can that possibly be? She's like, why don't you do like indie rock or something? And I'm like, that's not the point.
No, not indie rock, but you know, this is stuff like doom metal. You know, doom can fit into psychedelic stoner music if it's not real heavy metal guitar driven. But then it crosses over into the metal period with doom metal.
How hard is it going to be for you at that point to like keep up with bands and music and like know what you're putting out, or at a certain point you can be like, sure.
No. What I'm trying to do is, I will tell you, I don't want to say this. I grew so fast that this thing got out of control. And what I'm doing right now actually is I'm actually purposefully, and I have slowed this thing way down so I can go back to the beginning and fix what I know is broken. and there's a lot of things that maybe people don't see that is broken. But when you're dealing with this day to day, like I am, and it's just me, then you know that there's a lot of rooms for improvement in certain things. And so what I'm doing is I'm going back to the beginning. I'm going to fix a whole lot of things. And part of that is building my team. And part of that team is Patrick with, getting Pat on board. And
Pat from Monster Riff, by the way, if you don't know what we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, Pat from Monster Riff, getting Pat on board. Pat's been helping me out, tremendously. And there's some other people that I'm probably going to start working with pretty soon. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a team, but I want to build a team in a way that keeps the Cosmic Peddler. The Cosmic Peddler means that like the focus is to connect with the bands and to support the bands on that level. And to sell and distribute underground music, whatever kind of music that is, if it's metal or doom or psych or stoner or rock or whatever, is try to stay into the underground scene, but just try to collaboratively bring it into one location. Sure.
So let's change gears here a little bit real quick. What makes you say no to a band when they approach you? Like, what are those things where you go like, is it, and again, for my own experience, bands that have kind of approached me about doing things with them, part of me goes, it's easy to say no because I don't like your music. I can say that. I listened to it, didn't dig it, no thanks. But there's plenty of times where I go, it's not my thing, but I know that it's good. It's not something I would listen to, but I know that it would sell. And it's hard to let those opportunities pass you by. Like, are there any opportunities where you go, listen, it's not my thing, I don't like it, but sure, let's work. Or do you find yourself saying no sometimes? And how do you know which is which?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not a big no person.
That's exactly what I told Pat. I said it's part of starting Slightly Fuzzed was because
I'm not a big no person, man. Yeah. I believe, and so just about any band that'll contact me, I'll be like, dude, sell me a few copies, brother. And if they sell and I'll promote it for you, then I'll come back and I'll get more, man. And I'll help you push it. The only thing that I don't like, and this goes not just with bands, but with record labels and all that stuff, is when I buy their music and then they don't support me. I think, it has to be a two-way street in order for it to work. And I know that when bands work with me, just like if they work with labels or whoever, when the bands are involved, then shit moves. But marketing is huge. And that's why I got with Patrick as one of my first. He is one of my first official people that's working with me. I've had a few people try to work with me and stuff, but it just didn't really work out. But Patrick is the first official person that I feel confident will stay on board with me through this whole thing. Me and Patrick are pretty solid.
So then what is the stuff that really gets you excited? I mean, we kind of talked about the kind of music that you're into or the stuff you grew up on, but like as far as stuff coming out right now, King Buffalo maybe being one of them, what's the kind of stuff that just gets you super excited for this kind of shit?
Dude. Well, so I like metal, man. I didn't realize how much I loved metal until I got into it more. And I know that's a little bit outside of the scene that I'm actually in. Mm-hmm. But I love that. Oh, dude, you know who I'm really, really, really digging fucking right now? Fuck, man. Clouds Taste Satanic.
Okay, I know them, yeah.
Oh, dude. They came down here. They were down here like a week ago. and they came into the Peddler's Den here, and they hung out, and I did a little interview with them, which should be posting up. I'm going to come up with a YouTube channel, and I'm going to do live interviews with bands from the Peddler's Den here at my house. And I'm going to post them up on the YouTube channel with all my little videos and all that kind of stuff. So that's coming. But I am super duper fucking impressed with Cloud Stay Satanic, Grave Bathers. Woo, man, I love you guys, man. They are rowdy, dude. They came down here and they played all over Texas for like a week or so. And I saw them several times, man. They were all over. And every time, I mean, star performance every time. And another band like real recently that really impressed me, Old Blood out of California, and they're on tour right now. I think they're still on tour, and they got an album coming out very in the near future. And the Cosmic Peddler better have some of those records at the Cosmic Peddler.
I don't know if I know them. I mean, I don't know that I do.
Have you ever listened to the Lucid Furs?
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine the Lucid Furs with Uriah Heep keyboards. Just going off on the freaking keyboard like Uriah Heep shit. It's like you're like dude, you're on cloud nine, man. Yeah. Just smoke a big bowl and inhale that music, and you're fucking good.
So as much as you love metal, you definitely like a little bit of a taste of like that, like more classic, like retro stuff too. Yeah, is that fair to say?
I love AC/DC. Like I said, I just saw Judas Priest a couple nights ago, man.
Oh, really?
Their 50th anniversary tour, man. I saw them. Freaking Rob Halford came out on a Harley, dude. 70 years old. Brum, fucking came out. I'm like, woo! I was super excited, man. So I love all the old school stuff, man. I was big into the glam bands. But some of the underground glam bands like Faster Pussycat, I love Faster Pussycat. Do you know who they are? I'm a big Faster Pussycat fan. Yeah, I like them. Warrant, Bon Jovi, Skid Row, Motley Crue. That's kind of when I was in high school, and that stuff was hot, man. Guns N' Roses, all that stuff. You know, just because I grew up with it and it was good, but Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, Uriah Heep, all those bands, you know, AC/DC, Judas Priest, Aerosmith. I mean, I think those guys will be like gods forever.
Yeah. I mean, that was the era of like the rock star too. It's kind of hard to beat that era. That doesn't exist anymore, really. Regardless of how good your music is, that myth around the band and like all that, like that's gone. So it's hard to argue with that.
Well, and I think you know, the difference is social media, the internet. You know, you can freaking fart a tune and somebody will put on a fucking record for you. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but you almost can. I mean, and that's what I mean. You know, when I say, you know, the whole thing is saturated, is it's saturated. I don't know. Everybody's got their thing. They're all artists. I get that. But it's just not, you know, some of it's not my thing. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, anyone can make a record, and that's great for a lot of bands that never would have made it otherwise.
But back in the day, they couldn't. See, back in the day, they couldn't. When it was AC/DC, Aerosmith, and all that, man, they couldn't do that back then, dude. It had to come from Sony. I know a guy. Okay, here's an awesome story. One of my very first customers, and he's still a customer, and he's actually a good friend of mine now. He's in his 70s. He owned one of the very first stoner psychedelic rock labels in the United States called Lone Starfighter Records, and you can look them up. They're from Texas, and he had a lot of good psychedelic, stoner, acid, trippy stuff, man. And he connected with he connected with me, and he was one of the first ones, man. Yeah, it was, I don't know where was I going with that, but.
Well, I was just saying it nowadays it's great that bands can get their music out when they wouldn't have had that Sony connection.
Yeah.
So also put out bad records from bad.
Yes.
Bands.
So what he was telling me was he was like, Paul, you don't understand how hard it was back in the 90s to press a record. He had to go to Sony to get a CD made for his record label. Sony. No, so that's the difference between now and then. Now my 7-year-old daughter, if she knows how, she can go on the computer and she can record, fart a tune, sing it, and then put it on CD and distro it all herself at 7 years old.
Yeah. And even if you're not,
that's what I mean by
CD. Like you're definitely going to easily be on YouTube, Bandcamp, Spotify, whatever.
You're going to be out there, but what now makes you great? And that's one of the questions that I keep asking myself. Like we all know, well, I say this, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel this way. Elder, King Buffalo, Uncle Acid, those bands are phenomenal bands. They're to me, they're at the same, they're almost at the same level as those great bands. But unfortunately, will they ever get to that level?
No.
I don't know if it's possible anymore.
Yeah, for a number of reasons. And it's like we talked about that there's an oversaturated of music and the market there. But like there is not that gatekeeper anymore. So you don't look to just one spot and go, I guess this is on the radio, so it must be the best out there. So there's not that anymore. But also like that accessibility to them. Now they all have social media and Twitter. You almost get too much of a behind the scenes a little bit sometimes. And you go, I don't know. There was just something about Steven Tyler and the mystery behind him and like knowing that. And
nobody knew what they were doing, dude. All we ever saw was like pictures of them fucking half naked, wasted with fucking naked chicks, which nowadays that'd probably fucking offend somebody. But that's what we grew up with, man. That shit was on MTV. I grew up near Cincinnati in Dayton, Ohio. Radio 19707. I forget what it was called, dude. But even the radio stations would have like live with Ozzy Friday night, and friggin' Ozzy would come on and they'd play rock and roll all night and talk. But other than that, it's just like you said, they weren't intimately personal into everything that they were doing. There was some secrecy there. Yeah. And so when the band came around, like, dude, we gotta go see them. Maybe that kind of created some of the hype. And that could be, though, also what did well on this tour for Uncle Acid and them, because they're from the UK, is they come here. That they're not, their shit's not all over the place.
Dude, the coolest thing about Uncle Acid, like 5 years ago, maybe longer, 8 years ago, was like going to Uncle Acid's website long before like their like latest 3 albums or whatever. Their old website was just like this like running blog of like weird, witchy, occult shit. That's it. That's all that was on their website. It was just weird, and it was just a bunch of like semi-inappropriate occult images. And that was Uncle Acid's website. And I'm like, this is fucking rad, dude. This is awesome. These guys are like the real deal. And I remember listening to like their first couple albums and being like, these guys are the fucking real.
Fucking dude. Dude, I see it.
There was no Instagram at that point that they were on. They weren't on any of that shit. There was no Facebook. Their website was weird as fuck. And then they put out these awesome records. I'm like, this is badass. And then eventually they got on Twitter and they got on Instagram and all that kind of shit. But at the time, dude, I ordered a t-shirt from that old website and it was like covered in red paint and they had like some weird like symbols on it. And they like shit. It was the shit, man. I remember getting that shit from being like, who the fuck are these guys?
No, and that's a good point that you bring up. You know, when you personalize stuff, then I think that makes people appreciate you more. And that's one of the things that I've tried to do is create my own brand and personalize things. So I try to always throw like little extra things, stickers and stuff in with the records and different things. I mean, I wish I could do more, and maybe someday that I will. I give away a lot of my t-shirts and different things to bands, and I go to shows. I hand them out to people in the audience that I feel like is like out there and like, dude, this is awesome. I'm like, oh man, would you wear one of my shirts? Or like, hell yeah. And I just randomly do like give people, you know, my shirts and stuff. But
I'm the same way. I give away a lot of the shirts and stickers that I bought, and it was all out of my own pocket, you know, and I'm probably ate shit on that stuff. But like I remember like deciding like what kind of shirt I wanted to get if I was gonna make a shirt. And it was like I could have gotten like the white or maybe black like basic t-shirt that fits all weird and shit. And it cost like $4 a shirt. And I was like, I fucking hate those shirts. I hate when people give me those shirts. So I want a baseball tee. I want like the black sleeves, the white middle, and it cost me like $4 more per t-shirt. And I was like, fuck it, I don't give a shit. If I'm gonna make a shirt, I want it to be the one that I want to wear.
Yeah.
And if I was asked to be on a podcast, like I would want them to like treat that as a important moment. So like I'll like give people shirts or stickers or something just for being on, or like do a contest on Instagram or whatever. And it's just like, that's how I would want to have been treated if I was like in the reverse role. So I just started giving away shit all the time because I'm just like, I don't know. This is more fun. You know, when I order a shirt from a band and they give you extra stickers, it's awesome. You know?
So we were talking earlier about upcoming bands that I got my eye on. So Iwas is one that I think that people need to keep their eye on. They just opened up for Monolord.
Yeah, I think they're going to be on the podcast like next week.
Dude, they just opened up for fucking Monolord. Their album. He contacted me, and I helped him, and then Kai. And then they sold out of that record fast. Yeah. And I think, you know, now they got a new band and they got a full album getting ready, I think, going to come out. I think they're probably looking for a label or something or some way to get the album out. Mm-hmm. I like Iwas. Like I said, I like Clouds Taste Satanic. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I know they got a new album coming. If I say that, dude, they got a new album coming. Who else? There was somebody else that I had on my. Psych Rock. So for Psych Rock, Land Mammal. People need to look at Land Mammal, dude.
I'll have to write that down. I don't know that. I don't think.
They're a new album came out with Cosmic Artifacts. It's been very low key, man. Not a lot of people has got it. They're from Dallas, Texas. The lead guy, they're from another. Some of the members are from other bands that had other records, and they formed almost like a super band. And Land Mammal is fucking sick. The only thing the biggest downfall I see, you know, with them maybe is like just not advertising and getting their stuff out there enough. But I love that album, and I think that band's going to be. I hope they do more. But I like them.
That's an interesting point, though, is that like we talk about how it kind of sucks that bands are now on Instagram and Twitter and stuff so much, and you get almost too much from them. On the reverse is like some of these small bands, they suck at social media, and you go, dude, I mean, you guys have good music here and no one's going to hear it because you suck so bad at this marketing part of it. And it's like, it's kind of like this catch-22 is that like,
that's the thing, man, is you have to find a happy medium, right? Yeah. You have to find that happy medium. That's the hard point. Dude, I find myself getting engulfed in social media. I'm like, dude, I can't do this. It's taking up all my time. And then I back off to the point that I slow down too much. And I'm like, dude, things are real slow.
Yeah.
And that's when I got my man Patrick, man. And Patrick, Patrick, I like the way he's working with me, man. He's a smart dude.
Yeah, that'll be good for you. He's you're in good hands, I think. So
yeah, Patrick is the man. Let's see. What else, man? What else we want to talk about?
Well, I wanted to do this one last segment. If you're familiar with the podcast at all, we do sometimes called Real or Fuzzed. So I want to show you 10 album covers. Some are real album covers and some are not. Some are fake. And you tell me which is
okay.
Which. So here's the first one. Songs for Gay Dogs.
Real.
This is real. Yeah. I don't know. As a person that moves records, you might have an unfair advantage in this game, but I thought that's what would make it fun.
Yeah, dude, it's like I told you, man. Anybody who can fart a tune can basically make a record now, and that's kind of unfortunate. That to me looks real.
Baron Cross, yeah, Rock for the King.
Yeah, I think I've even heard of that name. They looks like some very underground '80s hair band. Is it real?
It is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's the real album. Yeah. Swine and Dine, Eat Me.
Oh, fake.
All right, yeah, that's fake.
Is that fake?
That's fake, yeah. Hot Poop does their own stuff.
Real.
That is real. Yeah, you're too good at this.
Don't fuck with the Cosmic Peddler. What the hell is that? Oh, wow.
The meat shits. It's the meat shits. It's called Get Ready to Shave Pussy.
Oh my God! I say it's fucking real. Hey, well, no, I ain't gonna say that. I don't want to say that on here. I'm sorry. I'll leave that. I'll leave that out, man. I don't want to get fucking canceled. Fuck.
Yeah, that's a real album, man. That's a real one.
I think that's probably real. Yeah, I got a couple crazy albums on this shop, man.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, Tom Patterson. Who Needs You?
Real.
That one's fake.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. That was like a photo from like an ad or something back then. Mammoth Lungs. Will somebody open a window?
Fake.
That's fake. Yeah. Regurgitated. Carnivorous erection.
Real.
That's real.
Real. You can see the record ring, man. Is that real? Huh?
That's a fake one.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. That looks like some underground shit that someone made back in the 80s, man.
For sure, yeah. All right, last one. Torment.
Real.
That's real. Yeah. Dude, you did really good.
Woo!
You might hold the record for that. Actually, I think that you only missed like one or two, maybe.
I think I missed one, man. I think I only missed one, dude.
You might be the new record holder. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but I just wanted to see like what you were up to next. You kind of talked about like the new website and branching out a little bit and hiring some people and stuff like that. But is there anything else that you're going to be up to here?
Dude, there's a lot, man. A lot. So, well, there's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of great ideas in direction that I want to go. Okay. But it all starts with, like I was saying earlier, was getting back to the foundation of the business. And so I kind of revamped the website because what I found out was, and I know like talking to my customers, there was some frustration with, dude, your website's, been changing off and on, quite a bit. And I'm like, well, the thing that you don't understand is, even though you get an idea and a direction in your mind, because I'm on a platform, then I'm limited to what that platform can do. So we might have a phenomenal idea and we start going in a direction, and then we find out, damn, it ain't going to work. Well, now through all the trial and error that I have experienced over the last couple of years, I have the direction now. So the website is set. The only thing that's going to change with the website is the artwork. There's going to be upgraded artwork. I'm going to fix all that. There's going to be some upgraded features to the website. But if you look at the flow of the website is what I like. You have your pre-orders, your records, your CDs, your cassettes, and your merch from top to bottom in that order. And in there, you'll have like, discounted records, discounted CDs, discounted cassettes, or whatever. Like there's stuff in there, but that's the basic flow that I have found that works. Now, what I want to do is, because I grew so fast, personally, I think that, and I'll use Cosmic Artifacts maybe as an example. All right. When I started working, with Cosmic Artifacts, and I didn't know what I didn't know, I just started bringing stuff on board. And then so when it would come in, I'd upload it onto the system. And then when it would be gone, I'd take it out. Mm-hmm. Well, over time, I was like, damn, I can't keep putting this stuff in and taking it out. And I'm like, dude, why don't you just put the whole fucking catalog in there, the entire catalog, and just maintain the whole catalog? That makes sense, because then, if I'm going to represent Cosmic Artifacts, first of all, I should have everything that he has. So that way, when customers come to me here in the States, they know that I have everything that they have in Germany. So that's basically what I'm doing is I'm going back one by one, label by label. I have to upload. It's all this work, redo all the artwork with it. There's a whole process, to this, but one by one, the labels that are solid are going to come back onto the Cosmic Peddler, and it's going to be set. So that's number one. Number two will be, once some of that starts to calm down, then I'm going to integrate the Classic Rock Shop. Once the Classic Rock Shop is integrated, then we will have a grand opening sale, and I will have the greatest classic rock store on planet Earth. I promise you, like hands down. There won't even be a close second. Nice. And I can say that because you can go to piss-ass Amazon or piss-ass eBay or any one of them other motherfuckers that I don't like, and you can go to any one of them and you can go sort and fish through all the fucking billions of shit that they have. Mine's going to be all classic rock, and it's going to be like all like the best shit. So I'll have that. Like
classic rock records, like are these going to be like pre-owned records or like brand new?
No, all brand new, and with a big emphasis on underground classic rock. So there is a huge underground classic rock scene, man, of like albums that are coming out. People are digging out 8-tracks and cassettes, and they're finding shit, and they're like, dude, where did this come from? Yeah. And it's never been on vinyl, or it's never been on vinyl for like 40, 50 years, yeah. And this stuff is coming out. So
like the Brown Acid series is a good testament to that, man.
Yes.
Like I started listening to some of that stuff going like, I thought there was like 5 bands. Like, what is all this shit,
Dude, so that's going to be, once again, is trying to make my stores different than everyone else. And I think that's what's going to separate me. So I'm not trying to give away all my secrets, but I want to, I'm going to stick to the foundational bands, like your foundational solid, like the top tier level bands. but then a heavy focus on underground classic rock music, and there's a lot of it out there. So that, and then after that will probably come my metal store, and eventually my record label. I mean, I really want to open up a record label, but it's just, people don't realize it's so expensive to press vinyl and have to set on that money for an extended period of time. Now, a lot of record labels are selling the records before they're even pressing the music, and are using the money to press the music. That, to me, I can't do that. I don't like that. I see way too many problems with that whole situation, and I deal with all their problems right now as it is, and I just don't want to. That's just not really where I want to go. So eventually, is I want to have a record label, but I want to put stuff out, and when it comes out, it goes into the hands of customers. I don't want to have to deal with all the bullshit. When's my record coming and all this kind of stuff. Like, sure. I want to do that, but not only that, but I want to have a kind of an old school style of record label. So I will schedule and tour all my bands as a record label, like they used to do. I will give them all their stickers, their pins, their shirts. I'll do all that. Like, when it comes, it's going to come. But one of the other pieces of that I want to do, though, is also create something kind of different. And I hate to kind of put all this out to people, because I just know, like, people's going, oh, that's a great fucking idea. But what I want to do is honestly, and I'm kind of doing this right now anyway, is create, like I said, is create a platform for independent bands to be able to distribute their music. But the caveat to that is, there's a lot of bands are like, dude, man, like, we could almost pay for it. I'm like, dude, you know what? I'll fucking put up half of it, bro. Your album's solid. I'll fucking put up half. I don't need no fucking contract, dude. My fucking goddamn word is fucking solid, brother. All right? When I fucking say that I'm going to fucking do something, that's what I fucking do. Hands down, not 99.9 fucking percent of the fucking time. 100% of the fucking time, dude. And bands know that, dude. I don't do fucking contracts, and I won't do no fucking contract for a very fucking long time. But that's what I want to do. Probably first is transitionally just try to work more with bands who are like, hey man, we just need some help, just a little bit of help, or hey man, we can make the record. Can you help us to distribute and promote it? Fuck yeah. Or, hey, man, let's do a 50-50 on the record, and then I'll help promote it and all that stuff. I think there's a lot of opportunity in that area. And that's kind of where I want to get into, and then leave the record label side of where I want to get to for bands that I feel like I want to do more with. I mean, I'll just leave it like that. I say, I want to do more with them, and when I get to that point, like I said, man, I would like to be able to have the resources to plan all their, do their tours, like just be heavily involved, just like they used to, man. When I grew up, dude. When I open up my store, okay, my plan is when I'm touring bands and I'm bringing bands through Texas, and they're going to come through Texas, because Texas, here's the thing about Texas. Texas is the gold mine, okay? It's a cliche term, but I call it the triangle of death, but it's really not the triangle of death. You have Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Houston, and Arlington. Okay, then you have College Station. Okay, you could that's not even all of Texas. That's not even to include El Paso and all these other places. You could do an entire tour just in the state of Texas, and every show will be fucking sold out almost, dude.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, and with Austin being the live music capital of the fucking world, not the United States, the fucking world, okay? It's a live music capital of the world, and there's a reason for that, because you can go up there any day of the week. Any night of the week, there's like 30, 40 fucking shows. It's like Monolord this night, Uncle Acid, King Buffalo, fucking Motley Crue, fucking you name it, dude. Like every band is up there playing like one day of the week.
Right.
So all of this is like a perfect storm. And then, so what I want to do is when I open my store, bring the bands in during the daytime to my record store, meet and greet with the customers, sign the records. I'll have a place for them to do photos with their fans and all that, and maybe do like a little live, like acoustic set or something right in the fucking store. And all of that will be in promotion for my show that'll be later in the evening. That's kind of like where I want to be, but I don't know,
that's the shit that like I look for as a fan, and like I know,
dude, I'm fucking telling you, dude.
But I like it went away.
No one's doing it, man.
Record stores kind of went away too for a while, so maybe all that shit just disappeared. Like everyone was going to Best Buy for their CDs.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
Now I think like, man, that sounds awesome, and I go,
dude,
where does it doesn't exist?
No, nobody's fucking doing it, man. And I'm saying that, right here, and now everybody's like, that's a fucking perfect idea. Let me start it fucking, right away. And I hate to put it out there like that, but this is, but the reality is I can say this, and if you don't have no heart and you don't love this, you're going to fucking fail at it anyway. So go fucking try anyway. And most of you probably will, because most of you don't fucking give a shit about this anyway. You're just in it for the money. I love this. I care about it. This is what I do. I eat, sleep, shit, breathe this crap. And if there's any way in hell that I can make this happen, that's my plan. But so I will finish with this, man. I'll finish, with this. I talked to some of my a lot of my customers, and I have like a few friends and stuff, and I talk to them. And one of the things that I always say is, I wish that people knew honestly who I was, because I feel like if they did, they would probably support me more. And I say that because when you buy something from me, dude, I have never in 2 years. In 2 years, I've never got $1 out of this business. Not even one, my friend. Not even one, okay? Every dollar that I get goes right back into my business. And the whole point of this is to grow it so I can make those things that I just said happen, which I think is, dude, I haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg with what I really want to do. Like, with everything, I'm just kind of giving you like an overall gist, but this is stuff that's going to detrimentally benefit bands, and it's going to help me, and not help me, financially. I'm not worried about that, but help me to promote the music.
Well, yeah. Dude, I hope that you'll be back on, and I don't know, 6 months or something, and we'll be talking about all the other new shit.
Dude, no, we need to, man. No, we need to. I definitely really, really, really appreciate you having me on here. And I think I'm one person, so there's a huge benefit in working with other people. And so I definitely want to surround myself with people, who are in the scene and want to do things like I want to do, because I think like we can all take our piece of the pie and just make this whole thing work, and it'll be badass.
Right on. Well, let's wrap it up with that, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
Being on, dude, and I hope
thanks, man.
See all these things come into fruition, and we'll talk again in a little while.
All right, brother. You take care, man.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye.